Just okay. You know what it is? It's that moment where you're no longer just like standing at an event, like having pakode and cha, and someone says, "Okay, Ranjit, now it's your turn to speak." It's
Yo,
like shit.
does your mic have a little knob for volume on it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Put that lower. Does that
There.
affect us talking to you? Can you still
I
hear us fine?
can. Now you're whispering.
No, but can you hear? Oh, so this affected the volume that you hear at?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. But I don't know. Did that speak
I
normally
can hear.
again?
So hello, hello,
Yeah,
hello.
it's much better. You can't
Interesting.
hear us though?
No, I can hear you fine.
Oh, that's
Oh,
great
okay,
then.
we're good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're just softer, but that's it.
chalo. Softer.
Anyways, yeah, after like you get that mic put in your face and a camera on you as well, and then yeah, man, like now I've gone full politician. I found myself complaining to my dad that he didn't take any pictures or videos of me at an event where I was speaking to people, and I was like, damn, that's such a politician thing to say.
Yo, man, I like how you fully embrace this.
He loves
Meanwhile,
it.
this
The
guy,
the spot the spotlight's on him. He want this is his thing.
I'm meant for the stage.
He's meant for the stage.
I'm meant for the stage.
this guy is so totally embracing it, and he's like, "This is the best." Do
Yeah,
you even know what a school trustee does at this point?
dude, I think I've developed a comprehensive platform that everyone should copy. It was so good. It was so good.
Just talking? What's the show about? It's about nothing. It's about nothing.
Just want these guys to know you got another thing coming, bitch. I'm still around.
Thank God.
You know who is absolutely killing it right now? I want to be the Bob Dosanjh, the Bob Singh
Yo,
of trustees.
Bob
That
is
video?
Bob is a fucking gem. He needs to be protected at all costs. Bob's a great man.
I
Straight up.
want Bob. I just love his media campaign. I think it's the greatest thing ever.
Yo,
I want
the
to parody
hockey.
it to a certain degree. The guy dressed up as a goalie.
Yo, come on, that's so good.
Do you know how
So
long it probably
good.
took him to dress up as a goalie for that one video? That was.
The man committed, man, and it was good.
Who? Wait, but who gave him that idea?
I think it's
Who
genius.
gave him that idea? And where did he get the pads and equipment?
Where did you get your
Hey,
mic?
I don't. Yeah, your mic is horrible, bro.
Oh my God.
You sound worse than Sanjay today.
Okay, I'll just restart my computer.
I don't even think
Don't
it's your
just.
computer. I think it's literally hardware related to you. But um,
Move the
please,
mic away. Move the mic away a little bit for him. to
Nah,
hear.
you guys keep chatting. I'll be back in a minute.
I don't think it's gonna make a difference. Anyways,
No.
man,
Anyways,
where you been? Now that we got rid of the third wheel.
I've been stuck in weddings, brother. Wedding season hopefully is an end. This was my last family wedding for a long time. It was my
Yeah.
first cousin's wedding. Why do people enjoy these things? Man, I just
Welcome to the dark side.
oh man,
I'm not a big wedding person. I
the,
just find them
you
tedious.
you got married. I got married prior to Instagram, so like I felt that was the best time to get
How
married.
much? No, you didn't.
Yeah, 10 years. We weren't really on Instagram 10 years
I'm at
ago.
8 years. I'm at 8 years, and Instagram was
Yeah,
popping.
I think it
It's
had just started.
no, it was popping 10 years ago too. Because I have like my
No,
Instagram
bro,
goes back
my,
like
my my phone was a BlackBerry. I remember.
yeah, so was
And I
mine. So, but Androids and iPhones were the shit then, and I was always like, "Oh, your phone can't run on Instagram, you petty little." And I was like, "Oh
yeah, what was
man,
it 2000 and what would that be? I don't even know what year it was. But anyways, 2012. No, I don't know. I don't think that was
Instagram was popping, man.
okay. Maybe not. Okay, in my crew, it wasn't. Like it's not like
Snapchat was popping when I got
nah.
married.
I don't. I no. I can't. Maybe when you got married, but not when I got
Before, no,
married.
because I got married late at it, and people before me were doing the Snapchat hashtag thing, where they were getting that special filter for their
Hmm.
wedding stuff custom made.
Yeah, that happened like at a few of my friends' weddings after, but for mine, it was never even brought up. It wasn't a
It's
thing. So, but I
it's because
feel
you're
like
on
it.
BlackBerry, you're insulated.
But I felt like it kept it more simple, right? People just had it came, they ate food, had a good time, and left. And now it's like I don't know. It's just I was there. You do the morning thing. It just
You
seems
got
so
to
drawn out. I was
when
so sick of it,
it's
man.
when it's your own personal wedding, it sucks. 'Cause you got to be everywhere on time,
Yeah, that's true. But
and You're standing around a lot more than when it's a personal wedding. You're at that dolly like half an hour early, waiting for the bride and groom to finish up their
Eh,
photos. And you're like,
the
where the hell
bride, the
are these
bride,
guys?
yeah, the bride side gets the worst, right? The groom's just we were on the groom side, so it was okay.
Yeah,
But yeah, man, it's
it's a
it's
long
getting
day. It's
interesting.
a long
Yeah,
week.
it's a long 2 days. It's a long week. Yeah, it's a
It's a
long
long
week,
week, and like
and planning it is definitely not fun.
I'm at
But
the like shooting them is cool because when you shoot them, you have a set time that you're there for, and you're out, and you don't think of it anymore. But when
yeah,
it's your wedding, yeah, I couldn't imagine.
I was getting like the photographers were great, but I hate that like let's keep taking pictures. It's like yeah, take your 4 or 5 pictures and let's go, right? But it's
Here's the
like
thing I don't think people understand, and it drives me crazy, is it's regards to the pictures. The morning, everyone wants to take the pictures.
hmm,
Suggen, everyone lines up to take pictures. At the reception, people are all trying to get their pictures. None of the people taking up pictures are ever going to see the pictures. The bride and
yep,
groom, when they make their album, are going to omit 99% of those pictures and only keep the core family in those pictures.
exactly,
The rest are
exactly.
just going to be on a hard drive that collect dust. Possibly they'll send them if they're nice enough to share.
But
Like, hey, thanks for coming to my wedding. Here's a picture of us.
but you
But
think with your phones that would kind of
yeah, because like the
maybe not be as
pictures
yeah, like you have your own pictures, you take your camera, and the cameras are like amazing now. So
and the
you know,
pictures you're going to share are the ones you're going to ask someone to take with your thing. But
yeah,
generally speaking, trying to get a picture with the bride and groom is more or less just this is proof that I was there when you need to go back, because they're not going to jumbo size that one picture of you and the bride at the Suggen on their wall somewhere. Isn't probably not even going to go into their wedding album.
yeah.
Uh, so I just find like a lot of this picture esque stuff
Yo,
overkill.
I had something crazy actually happen. Like so the wedding finished. I guess the you know yeah, the DOS happened, and it's that moment right before the shuggan starts. And some uncle just got up. I won't name him. He's pretty famous in the community. He went right up to the couple, put his shuggan, took his picture, and just dipped right
That's
before
like,
the parent.
That's
Right before the
someone who has to go to another event right away.
no. So that's what I thought. But then homie was just chilling in the back of the hall.
look, man, I'm gonna just put a
It,
name
it
on this person. It probably rhymes with Tali.
no,
No, I was gonna say
no, no,
it's a
no,
Mali, but
no. It's not. No,
it's
it
someone
wasn't a
who's been around the
politician.
block.
But it's yeah. What do you guys think about that? Like, is that wrong? Shouldn't you wait for the parents and the family to come do their thing? Homie just came up and took the spotlight, took his thing, and took his
I
picture and
mean,
bounced.
look, in the end, they're gonna the video guys are gonna cut it out of the video to remove it. He'll
Oh,
get his
fair enough.
picture regardless. Doesn't really
Yeah,
ruin anything.
doesn't ruin anything,
He's
but it's kind of like
The smartest thing I've seen for handling the Shogun line are two things. One, people set up little like booth in the Lunga Hall or a obscure hall somewhere else, and
mm,
that's where people like stand, give Shogun, take a picture, and walk away.
oh, who are they
Okay,
taking the picture? Who are they taking the picture with?
couple
the couple.
Oh,
like
okay.
So
So they're
we'll
just
sit on chairs
yeah,
on the side somewhere,
and they just come and
and
take. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. So that's one way of doing it. The other, innovation, I'll call it innovation I've seen, is those sticks people are like smashing at the juggle,
yeah.
like on the ground as they
Yeah,
like
yeah,
beat that
yeah.
thing too, like all that. So it's like a decorative little stick. I don't even know what you call it. Anyway, so
A sortie.
fine, but it was like wrapped in like glittery paper and stuff like that. I don't know, whatever.
Whatever.
Anyways, they to the bridesmaids or whatnot, they were holding it like end to end. They were using it like a gate, so they held people back like maybe 2 meters away from the couple,
I like
and
that.
it lifted up, and one family go through and lift it back down, so the picture doesn't look stupid. You actually get a decent picture, and no one's rushing and pushing and cutting in line is all taken care of too. Because if you're past that stick, no, get in
Yeah,
line.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's pretty good.
But it can be done clean.
Do we need the shuggan? Can't we just
I've
give
omitted
put
a
it
shotgun. I didn't have a shotgun at my wedding. I
just
think it's the weirdest thing. I know a few people who haven't done shotguns at their wedding. I just never cared for it. So my family said like, look, we're not gonna have one.
it's fine.
And I know a few other families they didn't do one.
Raji looks like he's like, nah, I need that money, bro.
Just
Give me
can't.
that money.
I didn't say no one asked me.
I mean,
Someone or
But
not.
I ain't giving it back.
I give
honestly,
back.
I don't think it changes the money thing. You're still people just give you envelopes instead. They'll go up to your parents. They'll see you at the end of it. It's just I don't think anyone's been like, oh, wicked, no shotgun line. All right, we're dipping
I think
without paying.
I think people kind of use it as like a verification too that they were there. Shugin picture.
Yeah.
You got a picture of me, so you know I was there, and you know I put money in.
The
You know.
go-go that I give is always pretty light. Like I give a heavy envelope at the reception, to be honest.
Yeah, same here. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I'm
it's,
lucky.
it's not really like the money angle. I think it's more like the attendance thing.
Yeah, I was kind of like, look, if you're here, you're here. If you're not here, you're not here. I don't really care. And my even thinking was like, I don't need this many pictures with this many people.
What I started doing though after a while, when it was like friends' weddings, like if I didn't have to be there the entire wedding, I would go there for like the Milani, like really early,
Mm.
be in the Lunger Hall, see the groom, hey, how's it going, bud? And I would dip.
Yeah,
I get that face to face. It was
Yeah.
noted, and then I'm done. I'm gone.
I'd always dip before the llama finished.
Yeah.
Yeah,
My
that's
wife's
not
like,
cool.
Why?
Why is that not cool? Why is that
Because,
not cool?
I
And I
mean,
double up. I double up the money. I double up the money in the card. Why is that not
So
cool?
what's the point of coming here? You're treating it like a task.
It is a
And
task.
then you
It is a
check it off.
task.
It
It is a
is.
task. 100%.
Then don't go.
I
Be happy for the guy किसने चाहना थोनू बुलाया.
I skipped
you
so
treat it
many
like a
weddings
task.
like that.
Oh no! If I like them, I stay.
Oh, so you didn't like this guy?
100%.
If I'm gonna see them again, and that was the only event I did, maybe I'll stay a little longer.
Yo,
But
there's been weddings.
Reception. That's the only way I knew he would attend.
There's weddings where
that was such an awkward speech. You probably got
There's-
that would have probably gotten cut out of the video. Hopefully.
No, it was in there.
Oh, that's awkward.
there's been weddings where I've shown up at 12 o'clock, see where my parents are in that Shuggan line, pop in, take my picture, and I'm out.
Yeah.
That's good too. That works as well. Why not?
That's good too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
weddings suck, man. Anyways, you know what else? You know what else sucks? Cars.
Yeah. What's with this? What's your beef with cars right now?
I literally bought a Ford Edge, and then a month after the
But
warranty
that's your
goes
first
off.
problem.
Why is
I
that
don't
my
wanna
first
say it.
problem?
I don't want to say it, bro. But
What's
yeah,
wrong with
you-
Fords? I figured my first car
What's-
before
hold
the
on.
Ford.
What's an
Was
odd
it
problem?
You bought a Ford and thinking it would be reliable. That's what you thought.
Look, I bought a
Yes.
Beamer, and the repairs on the Beamer cost a leg and a thing because you had to go to specialized Beamer repair people, German
but
car
then-
specialists.
Go to
But you don't buy
Japanese
American.
for reliability.
Yeah, Japanese, bro.
Japanese.
Yeah,
That's like-
and
This car's 101.
Exactly.
now I
You
bought
don't
a
get
Ford.
either.
The friggin' light goes on. I'm like, all right, goes on after my warranty finishes, and now they're like, yeah, and I'm like, yo, these guys charge a leg and a tooth for an analysis.
A leg
of
and a
problem.
tooth. That's a
Your
new one.
things are really
Oh.
weird. You said something else before too. It's really off. Just use the saying properly. Arm and leg.
Arm and a leg. What's a leg and a tooth?
Look, man, they charge a kidney and a liver.
I
for
know
this shit.
arm and a leg makes sense. A leg
Yeah.
and one tooth. What's the significance of the one tooth?
Look, man, we're living in hard times. Then I take it to like two Desi mechanics and just like double check on what Ford's work was, and Desi mechanics said, "Yo, there's nothing wrong with it. Just keep going." I was like, now I'm at that point. I'm like, yo, I just want. Then
But you haven't got that dongle where you just plug it into your
I had one before, like a Bluetooth one. was
Bluetooth
it.
one. It tells you all the problems, and you
Yeah,
go
yeah.
straight to say I've already run the code machine, and this is the issue.
Yeah, but then
Shinda, man, you'll DIY it. You'll be fine.
yeah, but then now I'm just kind of like, you know what? Let's just sell the car. And now I'm like,
Yo, this used car market is gonna implode, eh? Like today.
Yeah, sell soon.
Sell right now.
Sell
I
right
got
now.
so many people. I sold my wife's CRV, and I sold to a buddy's. And so when people found out what I sold it to him for, everyone's like, "What the fuck? That's it? You could have made triple that." I
Yep.
was like, "Yeah, but it was my
Not-
buddy.
not
I didn't
now.
wanna-"
Not now. This month. This is the last probably good
Yo,
month.
get rid.
to
If you're gonna
cars,
sell your
okay?
car, sell your car.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's where I'm at now. But then we have like this whole thing of, say your car might have an issue.
Okay.
When you sell it, if their mechanic who reviews your car when you sell it to them comes up with nothing, is it ethical?
Yeah, well, as long as you
So when you sell your house,
as
your
is,
house,
sell as is.
well, when you sell a house, do you disclose every little crack or every little dent in the drywall? No.
I feel like I would still.
I mean, you have an obligation to
Yeah,
tell
no one does.
buyers.
That's what a home inspection's for,
Yeah, but-
and they can do a car inspection. If the mechanic comes up with nothing, you've done
All
your
I'm
due
saying
diligence.
is someone buys your house and they find this podcast and they fucking You're kind of fucked.
You think every time you buy a used car off a used car salesman, they're telling you everything, or they even know what's happened to the car?
I don't know.
Everything that's listed in the Carfax that possibly might have came up, but you don't know all the little things that have gone wrong, right?
I bought a GPU, a video card off Kijiji. Every time I buy something off Kijiji, because I've been burned a few times, I bought off Facebook Marketplace, but same concept. Like when I bought phones and stuff, I bought phones and it ended up the phone was fake, or the phone was like, after a few months of use, the phone really started acting weird, and I'm like, the fuck, man, this guy sold me a lemon. And so I bought, and I've sold stuff on Facebook, on these networks also, and I've always sold my phone that was working fine because I'm just done with it. I'm like, yeah, let's make bucks off it. And so I'm buying like a big ass like purchase. A video card cost like $800, and I'm like, there's really no way for me to test or verify this on the street. Like sometimes you buy stuff, you can test it while you meet the person that it works. But like something like this, I gotta actually install it inside my computer, run a few tests, make sure that it's nothing shady, still all works. I'm like, I'm an idiot because my whole thing was, does this work? He's like, yeah, it works great. I was like, all right, dope.
I mean, so if you have an ethical dilemma, are you buying a brand new car right after this?
I mean, I bought this car 1 year used from the dealer, so I figured dealer would.
So go take it to a dealer and trade it in.
Yeah,
they're ripping you off on one end. You're ripping them off on the other.
That's kind of what my suggestions have been from people saying, listen, if you have any sort of ethical problem selling it to a random, they're like, send it to a dealer.
Yeah, they're ripping people off left, right, and center, so yeah, it's okay.
All right, we got Ameek Singh here. I'm gonna pull him in.
Right.
You guys have
Ameek. It's not Ameek.
I don't know why I keep saying Ameek. Ameek.
You want to get? Who is he? You want to give him an introduction?
We'll bring him in. We'll let him introduce himself.
Sure.
All right, hold up. Yo.
That can't be him.
That can't be him. It's a Cookie Monster
emoji. Smurf, right?
No, it's like a default Cookie Monster.
Hey guys.
Hey, how's it going, boss?
Good thing. How's everybody doing? Thank you, Shinda, for setting everything up. I appreciate it.
Do me a quick favor. Rotate your camera.
You want it this way?
Yeah, go horse. There you go.
That's much better.
Oh, attaboy.
Hold on. Let me sort it out. Ek minute do menu. Let me sort out the situation. Here. Pop it on here.
Seem to have a running theme of technical problems on this show.
Yeah.
I still can't get over Ranjit's discount mic. Time to order.
It's not a discount mic. You can hear me loud and clear. It's a discount camera.
The discount host as well.
Wait until this podcast goes up and everyone starts messaging you about how bad your audio was.
Oh man.
Now your camera's broken, your audio's breaking.
You know what I honestly think it is? I think your wire's loose. Not loose, but like it's a cheap wire. Don't try to do anything with it.
Don't do nothing now.
But I'm just saying, I feel like the wire's gotten wear and tear on it, that it's creating noise on your...
Yeah, maybe that's it.
That's my take.
Is it okay? Can you guys hear me? Audio's okay?
Yeah, you're way better than Ranji.
I'm going to take a There's literally not next to me, so it's fine.
All right, so let's just start off with introductions, man.
Sure.
Who are you?
Yes, my name is Ameek Singh. I am...
Not Ameek Singh, like I've been mistakenly pointed out.
Ameek, yeah, Ameek, Amit. I go by Ameek. Like there's a lot of variations of my name out there, but it's Ameek Singh for official record. But yeah, that's me. I am a
family nickname. Any family nicknames? Any good ones? Actually, only tell us good ones if there's good ones.
Man, I don't know if I want to do this right now. That they goes everywhere, but I think
you guys are really making sure no other guest ever comes on. Let him introduce himself.
No, that's good. I think that's it. That's the only one that I go by. People have butchered. People in middle school used to take my name backwards. So Ameek spelled backward in schema, so they were having fun with that.
Right.
It was a part of really like a memorable part of my childhood for sure.
Yeah. Schema's actually a pretty dope fucking nickname.
No man, it's not. It's really.
I think it's an intimidating like nickname.
Yeah, it's like yo Akima Agya. Then you're like yo.
No.
Akima. It's like yo.
Akima Bernata. Like rather than that, that's how it's actually used.
You could say Matera Kima Banana. There you go.
There you go.
Now you're an enforcer, right? Just twist it.
There you go. There you go. See, I wish I had you guys in the middle school when the insults were coming my way. You guys would have kept me safe out there in the streets for sure.
Nah, man, I fucking got bullied. I got wedged and shit. I'm the last person
Oh
around your
my
corner.
goodness! No! Wow! Good
What?
God, man. But yes, I don't know how to segue from that. That's very traumatic, man.
All right,
That's,
so we're joined by Ameek Singh today. Going for
there you go, guys.
three and four.
Wars
All
3
right,
and
so
4.
Ameek
That's
Singh
me.
Wards 3 and 4. All
Yeah,
right.
that's
So,
Well-
what got you interested in running?
thank you for that question. To be
That's the
quite
last
honest,
lightweight question because all the other questions are really.
beautiful. No,
Yeah,
I want that because I think our generation, our segment is missing from the political landscape locally. To be quite honest, I was not really into politics at all. I had no semblance that this was where my life would go. But I really am passionate about healthcare and the healthcare challenges that Brampton had. Growing up in Brampton, somebody that volunteered in civic, going to school, coming back and seeing like, we still have that one hospital. And then seeing my personal friends go through the same challenges, what the heck can I do? Like, we always talk about government can change things. Why don't I try engaging with it? And I tried that and was quite successful. I'm not saying I'm the only person that talked about healthcare challenges in Brampton, but I definitely caused some ripples that made some waves, and the waves were coming, but it was just directing that energy in the right direction. And that was a good experience for me. And then COVID hit, and again, it was a healthcare challenge, and I had a skill set as a nurse, and I did my best to serve the community the best I could. Ran the Peel Isolation Center. A lot of the students, vulnerably housed, homeless individuals in Peel region were basically living by the roadside, were living in their cars. There's so many pockets of Brampton where you would kind of close your eyes and be like, oh, that car's been there for years. Yeah, it's a home for someone. And during COVID, people were just living in cars, living outside, that were really vulnerable, that were kind of going home to home or couch surfing. All of that just got compounded. So I advocated for more healthcare funding and ran that program as well. Turned 3 hotels into continuous care unit because, again, Ulster didn't have space. So we were really happy last year when the announcement came and the $1 billion have been given to Brampton. It was like, yes, finally some change. And you turn around and look at Ulster, it's like, are you guys going to submit your plans? And they're like, nah, we're good. We're good. We're hiring an architecture though. We've done that. And it's gone to tender. It's supposed to start construction in 2026. And I'm looking at council. I'm like, this is a huge priority. You guys declared a healthcare crisis. Usually when a city does that, that means it's a crisis. Can we start acting like this is something that we need to work towards? And nothing. And you see how things are in council right now. And hopefully, we can shuffle the deck. And have some stakeholders and people that are real good stewards for Brampton, as opposed to, the legacy politicians that have been there for a very, very long time. And other than, park name changes, they don't really have anything to their name. And you can kind of say that, Brampton hasn't progressed. You look at our neighbors, and that's why I'm like, enough is enough. I've tried my hard advocacy, if you will. Going through government relations, working through Region Appeal, working with the City of Brampton, the Fair Deal for Brampton campaign, the petition still in City Hall. If you go there and you see that petition, it came out of that town hall that I helped organize, and those were the 3 asks that we had forward. The 3 asks that came out of the town hall were, more funding for Central West Lynn, second phase expansion for Peel Memorial, which we got last year, and a 3rd hospital. So there were very systemic asks that we had. And I can keep going on and on about healthcare. So please tell me to shut up because I won't shut up.
So
All right, you got my vote, so I'm good.
I got it. It was kind of weird having someone's legit background on this show.
I'm like, wow, we got a real guest, guys.
We got a real guest.
You're making us look better.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. So all that sounds great, and it's amazing. Then why the racetrack? Why have you become the racetrack guy?
Yes, thank you for bringing that up. Yes, the racetrack is something that OPP was pushing for as well.
Right, time
and
out. Someone
I-
explain.
Yeah,
Explain what
racetrack.
we're talking
I'm
about.
not
this
sure.
is not the key focus, and of course, Shinda will bring out the most
No,
left
look,
field situation here. But yes, there is a challenge with speeding in our city. I think we all can agree.
Yeah.
And the most evidence-based approach that I've seen OPP talk about, Peel Police talk about, and just the car community in general is like, yo, where do I take my car? If it's not these plazas, if it's not like, if the 410 is not the track, so I mean, they're not going to go all the way to Niagara, but there's a business case for it. In all seriousness, if the Peel region wants to find a way where car enthusiasts can actually bring their car, have their meets away from residential, there's a business case. There's a huge car modification industry here that like would thrive, and they would have a business case for having something like that. So there's an amicable way to kind of address that challenge. I'm all for behavior change. You're talking to the guy that got funding for primary care services in the shelter system for people that are addicted to substances. So when it comes to behavior change, like my science is pretty clear on it. And yes, it might sound like left field, but if it's backed by evidence, if OPP is saying take your car to the track, why don't we have some sort of a facility that we have a space for the car enthusiasts, so they're not taking it on the roads?
I mean, my only one question to that would be where.
That's a good question. And you know what?
Yeah,
My answer to that is let's hire the 11 city planners that are missing from the city of Brampton. Make sure our planning department is fully stocked so we can have these nuanced conversations and find a space somewhere in Peel region where we can have that a space for people that would love to have.
So not just Brampton, somewhere in Peel.
Yeah, that
Okay.
I would expand it out to Peel, but if we can make it in Brampton, why not? Why not? If that's a need that the community is asking for. But that was just me being out there to kind of say like, okay, let's shake up the can. Let's have something out there that'll spark conversation. And sure enough, Shinda caught on to that, and he's like, man, this guy really focused on something on a left field.
So-
Sometimes you got to do that. Sometimes you gotta do
Like, is this a deterrent to like illegal street racing or just people driving aggressively? Because the driving aggressively part, like I think I chalk it up to congestion and people just trying to get to where they need to go and just fed up with the constant bottleneck like everywhere.
Yes,
Right?
I think you're right, but let's have an example, if you will. I'm sure everybody's seen the viral video of the truck, not the truck, the Jeep ramming itself into the tree. I think everybody's
hold
seen
on.
that.
To be fair, from what I read, those guys are from Montreal.
Like,
Okay, well, all right, but chalo dekho, Montreal, Quebec, Lagda, Brampton, they gede kaat de hai, so like you got to understand, there's some logistics that don't make sense there. But I think that's not a one-off. I think in the campaign trail, we've also seen some car go into some campaign offices. So there's if we're talking really like Brampton politics, that happened, man.
But I'll go as far to think that almost felt like an inside job. They needed attention on their campaign. The easiest way
I'm
to
not
get attention on your
lobbing that
campaign.
grenade in there, but Shinda, if you want to throw that out there, by all means.
All
But
I'm
I'm
saying
not.
is, I don't know for sure.
highly suspicious and coincidental.
There was something
put it that
very
way.
coincidental and favorable
Suspicious,
about that.
The picture was
so-
perfect. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
it's
but
picture
going
perfect.
back to the point.
the Jeep
Yes,
guys
sir.
were on like meth and
Yeah.
heroin.
They were doing drugs. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And that was
Yeah.
my point is if you do a root cause analysis, it's actually impaired driving. That's the biggest cause for a lot of the collisions, in addition to congestion. So if we're going to make our streets safer, we need to deal with addictions. That's the biggest cause for impaired driving to the point, and also technology. Let's be honest, if somebody stood by any traffic intersection, I looked how many people are actually on their phones while they're driving. It's ridiculous. Can technology be better?
I think Ranji's
Alright.
smarking because he does it all the time.
I'm gonna
I
just
mean-
I'm gonna put it out there. I'm trying my hardest not to look at my phone when I drive, and it's a conscious decision. But that dopamine hit when the phone like dings.
How about speed cameras? More
Yes.
No.
Yes. Well,
or less?
Yes, more.
good question. So one aspect to community safety would be using more automated services. We have a beautiful program in the city of Brampton called Nurturing Neighborhoods Program. If you live in Wards 3 and 4, the next meeting is happening October 11th in Sportsplex from 6 to 8 p.m.
I love it.
Let the other candidate note this down.
I know about this.
Yes, and I'm telling everybody that I'm door knocking to come. And the reason why I'm saying that is there's a lack of engagement. So one way to bring the concerns that the community has in the right stakeholder way would be engaging in nurturing neighborhoods, which has bylaw, police, enforcement, all of them are there. So you can actually ask them tough questions like, yo, what the heck's actually going on? Like, what are you guys doing? And you can hear straight from the horse's mouth. Hopefully your regional councillors will be there. I'm going to be there as a candidate, but hopefully next year as a regional councillor, depending how things go. We need more automated flashing radar signs with posted speed limits. The cameras that are currently, the design that's currently in there, it's not as effective as it could be. You look at towards other municipalities, they have bump sticks, temporary or permanent speed bumps, and they're effective, right? I'm an evidence-based guy, so if other municipalities have best practices, why can't we implement them here in Brampton? That's the best way to go. And if there's a revenue shortfall, you're targeting bad behavior. I don't think anybody's going to have a challenge with that. Obviously, it's not indicative to just target one specific neighborhood or one specific part of Brampton. I think it should be ubiquitous all across wherever there are challenges with speeding. But more importantly, it all goes back to planning, right? Like if you are putting more subdivisions in and arterial roads are getting bypassed, if you're going in downtown Brampton now, they're doing the water main repair. A lot of the traffic is going to Charlotte. A lot of it's going to Cherry Tree. There are other parts of Brampton where the similar situations happening. Did you consult the neighborhoods before you said like, hey guys, we're just gonna make your road into Beauvais and you guys figure it out? Like if your kids are playing outside, that's on you now. That's not on me.
But with that, do you think that, I've always had the theory that our community, Brampton as a whole, or maybe just our Punjabi community in general, has a inherent problem where we like to complain about the city. And as you said, we have a problem engaging with our city, engaging with programs or people like yourself that do make these calls. If you do get elected, is that something you're going to address and maybe somehow increase community engagement?
So I'll give an example of my own experiences. So I mentioned that I ran the Peel isolation program during COVID.
Yeah.
That program was all across the province. Our program in Peel had the highest utilization rate in the entire province. And I largely give that to kudos to working collaboratively with the comms department and also community engagement with stakeholders. I went to all the Gurdwara, all the mandirs, all the mosques, all the churches, and also where the vulnerable were in our shelters and said, yo, this is a program that's here. You guys use it. And we had great reception out of that, right? So you take that same approach towards programming and planning. If you take those insights and you implement it, the Nurturing Neighborhoods program should be happening every 6 months. That the bylaw department, the Nurturing Neighborhood department, enforcement, policing sits down with everybody, planning and Parks and Rec sits down with everybody in a forum. And also we're shift workers town. So why can't, if my workplace has figured out sending emails or doing surveys is a good way to get an indicator of how people are feeling, why don't we do that? During COVID, we had town halls. So if people have time, do a teletown hall and find out what the sentiment is before making a decision. All right. Engage people online. Go to all the media outlets. I went to all the media outlets and talked to them about, the COVID isolation program, and people found out about it. I even partnered with PCHS and we built capacity there. So I said, listen, you guys are a bona fide social organization in Brampton. Why don't we stretch our wings a little bit and have some more nursing capacity? And they had their own isolation program that mimicked a lot of the insights that we kind of spearheaded initially. And we gave all the learnings we had experientially to them. And they did a phenomenal job. So it's providing community input that's needed, right? And that's in the heart and soul of it. Right now, we're making decisions in council and we're not engaging people. I sit on the transit committee for Brampton for the last 4 years. And I'll be honest with you, half of the committee members didn't even show up.
Is it still get paid? Or is this what volunteer
No, it's just free, man. This is all
it's
Sava. You're doing nice.
Well, there's some committees which are paid.
Are they?
Ones.
Okay.
Yeah. There's some.
He's like nobody told me.
Well, listen,
and then there's the free ones, right?
Yes. So
the volunteer ones.
That-
Are you talking about Godora? Are you talking about Godora committees?
No, actual
Oh.
city committees. There's
like the adjustment committee and stuff like that. They're
Well,
paid
Yes.
positions.
when I applied for city committees, I only applied to the ones that paid, and I didn't know if this one was a paid one or not. I just
It wasn't. It wasn't. I'll clarify that. It wasn't.
Shinda, you're
Um,
running for public office. I'm just reminding you.
listen,
but
man. I have zero input on these things.
No, I
and,
think-
whatever.
the
I
perspective.
am what I
you
am.
guys- No,
I'm greedy.
and I'll be honest with you guys. The perspective that you bring in the conversation that you guys have is a real one that a lot of people in Brampton are having behind closed doors, right? But you're just shining a light to it on social media. I'll be quite honest, right? But it's collaborating with stakeholders like yourself in a way that is meaningful to you, and the actions are reflective. People in Brampton are tired of people pulling on their heartstrings, myself included. That's Jaranby, by the way. That's the resident. And people are very, very tired of people pulling on heartstrings, and they've been doing that to Brampton for a long time, right? We're supposed to get a university, we're supposed to get LRT, we're supposed to get a hospital, everybody talks about this blue ribbon panel that we had, all the yada, but it's like, who actioned it? Are there any tangible actions that got done? And that's where the frustration stems.
Where do you think that? What is the problem with that? Why does nothing kind of formulate or come to
Fruition.
Yeah.
It's a lack of accountability, and I'll be quite honest about it. It is the lack of sincere accountability to the community, and the overall PR management of failures. Like Osler's position right now, and I'll be honest with you, they're probably not big fans of me, but I'm objectively rooting for them to do better, and I think they can. But their PR approach right now is hashtag Osler strong. Where is the strength? Like, I don't see it. When people go to Peel Memorial and they don't actually get access to healthcare and things are shut off, or during COVID, you don't even know if the lights are going to be on in Peel Memorial or not, or if you're going to actually get service. Or people don't even go to Civic anymore. They're like, yo, Upper Trillium nu chalde hain, Oakville nu chalde hain. That was 5 years ago. People were thinking that, right?
Yeah.
And that's a reality. We've normalized that level of distress. Like,
But
it's
do you think we should be asking harder questions as a community
yes,
to these people
of
we
course,
vote in, right? Yeah.
of
I mean,
course,
talking about harder
engage.
questions, you guys totally said you're pro. I heard two of you guys say you're pro radars. Really?
Oh,
Well,
dude.
flashing
Yeah, why
radar
not?
signs with a posted speed limit.
Anything that will stop people.
I have
ripping
kids
into
running out on my
moving,
street,
yeah,
man.
I
Anything.
freak the
Look,
F out.
man, put speed bumps.
Okay,
Hate these radar
Hey, I'm
things.
fine. I'm okay with that too.
Whatever it
hey,
takes.
this is beautiful. This is what a community is.
He lives in a quiet section of Brampton, so don't even disregard what he's saying.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is,
All I know,
Okay?
all I know is I saw
Yeah.
another counselor pose with one of these gray boxes, and I was like, "Fucking guy."
yeah.
And
Yeah.
I
But
saw
like-
that pictures, and I was like, "I've gotten hit with that $500 ticket, and I was only going 10 over." That shit is.
Well,
a
why
money
were you going
grab.
10 over?
I was. Who doesn't go 10 over, man? Screw you guys.
That's not the
this year.
point. That's the law.
Okay,
So in the
Shindas,
UK,
did it
on the
lead to
UK,
behavior
on the
change?
highway in UK, and there's some in Scotland as well when I was driving around, and some in England. There's radars on the highways. There's just automated radar.
Buddy, I ain't drag
And
racing out here.
the navigation will warn you: speed camera approaching, and
Listen,
not show you
I've
what you're
got
gonna do is
speeding
slow down.
tickets. I've got speeding tickets. I got hit with a radar cam, and guess what I did? I slowed down. It works.
I did slow
Okay,
down.
Did I get hit with a ticket again? Nope, because
No.
I
There
There
knew
you go.
I
this.
slowed down now right now.
it
They are
affects me.
there, but it's such a slimy thing, man. Just put speed bumps.
The only,
Okay,
the only,
fine.
gripe, the only
That's
gripe I
fine.
have with the speed cameras is the 40 zone kills me, okay? The 40 zone kills me. I do.
Where do you think I
do
got hit?
50 to 55. Okay?
I got.
I know every residential, I'm not going to go past 55.
So
I
So
think
why don't
that's
why don't you
reasonable.
just take another route if you don't
Dude,
want to
the
go
40
down a
kills me.
don't
The
go in front of the
40 kills
school.
me.
Take another route.
I was going to a freaking car wash in a neighborhood that I'm not familiar with, and I got a letter that I was like, shit.
You know what? It'd be nice to know where that money goes.
yes, and that's one of the other things that I want to focus on is having some semblance of trust with our community stakeholders, and also with the taxpayer, right? We can't just keep saying, oh, we're gonna have a zero tax freeze. Okay, cool, but what are we getting that in terms of services? What are we getting in terms of recreation centers? What are we getting infrastructure wise? Is it sustainable? And I'll be quite honest, I don't care how anybody slices it, it's not. Let's just be honest with the taxpayer about that. The ratio of residential to businesses in Brampton is outrageous. It's not
Yeah.
even normal. When the Board of Trade comes out in Brampton and says, we don't believe or trust the city council, we can't plan anything, that should be like a wake-up call for everybody. Like, that's not just a very like a small remark. The Board of Trade of your city is saying we can't trust council. There's no trust here. We can't plan anything based on what they're saying. And if your Board of Trade saying that, I think we need to have a real serious conversation of how other levels of government are perceiving city government here, right? When we have $1 billion on the table for the hospital and the city has not submitted their plans, they have not allocated land. Everybody said third hospital. Where is it in the official city plans? Please, somebody tell me. I've yet to see it. And I'm actually trying my hardest to find this information. So can you imagine the average person that's hearing people say that, yeah, we're going to get a third hospital, but there's no actual tangible actions by city or Osler? What's going to happen there? I don't think that's okay. And going back to the road safety piece, it's a collaborative effort. I'm not saying that every solution that I'm suggesting is going to be acceptable by the community, but maybe different parts of Brampton would like different solutions, and it should be community focused, right? Feedback driven and resident led. Those are the 3 key pillars of the platform that I have. And if there's disagreements, maybe we come to an understanding as a community, and that's where the Nurturing Neighborhoods program comes in. That's where the community safety well-being plan comes in. And we sit down with all the right stakeholders and the community members and decide, on this specific street, would you like bump sticks, radar cameras? Would you like permanent speed bumps? What interventions would you like to implement? And also guide them with the evidence that other municipalities have had. And then you'll get a consensus. I don't think Bramptonians are hard to get along with, man. They just don't like BS. And a lot of the times we get fed BS. And when we're disappointed, and we have to actually use the service, that's when the point of our BS meter goes way up, and then other words flying comes out. So, and that's everybody, right? So just hear people out, see them where they're at, and try to meet their needs, man. It's not a complicated job, I'll be honest with you. It's really not. You just have to be honest with people and try to do the best you can.
I love that. It's such a healthcare worker, so that's not a complicated job.
So
What you do is easy. What I do is hard.
So what's been the response at doors for you, generally speaking?
Generally speaking, the biggest issues you guys have covered. I didn't have to even talk about it. Well, not the racetrack. I don't think anybody's talking about the racetrack.
All I know is the viral videos that came out.
Shinda doesn't want speed cameras, but he does want a racetrack. I'm just put it out there.
Go for the golf.
And what he's gonna take is take his broken Ford Edge to its wits end.
Look, man.
Yeah, and so the response, to be quite honest, has been very receptive. People are opening the door and talking about issues. I'm trying to limit myself to 5-minute conversations, because sometimes you just get so passionate talking about an issue, and you look at the clock, it's like ਘੰਟਾ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਹੁਣ ਜਾਣ ਦੋਗੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਮੈਂ ਸਮਝ ਗਿਆ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਮਾੜਾ ਹਾਲ ਆ ਬ੍ਰੈਂਪਟਨ ਦਾ ਤਾਂ ਕਰਕੇ ਮੈਂ ਖੜਾ ਹੋਇਆ ਚੱਲ ਪੁੱਤ ਕੁਝ ਹੋਰ ਵੀ ਦੇਖਾਂ ਦੇਖੋ, and then it comes back full circle to the first. That's how unheard the residents are, that if anybody's even in the glimpse of government and listening to them, they're just waiting to give them every issue. And I'm dealing with immigration files. I'm like, okay, that's federal, so talk to your MP about that. Fridays is usually constituency day, so have you ever booked a meeting? They're like, what? That's a thing? I'm like, yeah, every month on a Friday you can go to your MP's office, book an appointment, and they will be there. They can actually assign you a caseworker. This is where our tax dollars go towards. Is that the kidi sparsh nahi chahidi tanu tusi bas appointment book karke kuch bhi kar sakde hain. And they're like, "Put mainu kaise aaj tak dassya nahi, main kinne ke saal ho gaye tanu Canada ch tanu aa cheezan nahi pata nahi." Then what are we doing as a community if we don't know how to talk to government? I give the example of Markdale and Peterborough. So I did my nursing education in Peterborough. Man, it's a town of 60,000. They have a hospital the same size as us. They have a city that figured out that they're a college town. They had their infrastructure and businesses planned. Their downtown core is not big. It's two to three streets. But their economy is thriving. They have the most restaurants and small businesses per capita in any other part of Ontario. And they're actually doing quite well. They have, an incubation hub for entrepreneurs that are supported with capital and grants. Why can't Brampton do something like that? All of our big entrepreneurs here are taking their manufacturing and going to Toronto. They're going to Mississauga. Why can't we do some more manufacturing here? You guys live here. Might as well, samosa factory. Why don't you open up Brampton?
Huh?
Like,
Yeah.
it's why Rexdale? I get it. It's closer to, Rexdale Gurdwara, but still, like, can we bring some innovation here? And we have so much experiential knowledge and cultural knowledge that we can implement in different ways. I think it can be done. You just need to give the right incentives. All the kids in high school, right? Teach them how to make a business plan. Put that as part of the curriculum. The city can actually engage with them and say, hey, if you have entrepreneurial aspirations, join here.
The school trustees listening to
This
your,
guy's legit just
suggestions.
copying your notes right now.
Right. And it's those sort of conversations that I know when I talk to the high school kids that are volunteering with me, they're like, yo, this is actually a cool idea. Like, I would want that. Like, I want to start a cybersecurity business. What does that entail? Right. Or like, I want to start a small restaurant. Right. How do we give them a safe environment that they can learn from their failures and not impact their bank account? And if there's any innovative ideas that actually succeed, how can we make it a Brampton success story, right? Like, we talk about Toshiba, Canon, Rogers. Okay, who are the new players here? We're supposed to be the cyber catalyst capital for Canada. You know how hard the federal government's pitching cybersecurity to Brampton? And Brampton's like, yeah, we're the hub. Okay, where exactly is the institutional partnerships? Where are the businesses that are in that space coming and setting up shop in Brampton? They're not, because, again, the city's not planning for that future, right? The LRT is something that I fought for as well. And the reason why I am pushing for both surface and underground route is the conversation that we've had growing up as kids. And yes, I'm saying kids, that's how many times we had the LRT fully funded offered to us. And it was rejected because we didn't like the route. There was an 8-figure. There was this. One counselor had problems with the other counselor. Siape everywhere. So, okay, no, we get nothing. Now we're at a point where I'm like, okay, fund both of them. Do their environmental assessment, feasibility study, and costing. Yes, the underground route costs a little bit more, but be honest with the taxpayer. Again, if that's an option you want, because Main Street is narrow north of Wellington, fine, but it's going to cost more.
Who really cares about downtown? I mean, you can't probably answer that, but the three of us, do you guys care about downtown Brampton generally?
I'll tell you why. And you're right. That sentiment is, and generally for Brampton, they're like, downtown, we have one. If
not even downtown, but the precedence that area of the city gets in terms of preserving its so-called heritage,
yes,
as an excuse for not advancing in it and making it, the LRT. Oh, we can't have it run through the downtown. Why not?
Yeah.
Why don't you just make the whole thing a pedestrian zone and open businesses? And I mean, there's solutions out there, but just say, well, we're not going to do it, and we're not doing nothing else. I mean, if you guys see what Mississauga's doing,
thank you.
I mean,
I'll tell you why.
It's embarrassing.
The honest answer? The honest answer is that the stakeholders and the downtown Brampton core, because there are stakeholders there. They engage with government. So guess what? Politicians actually listen to people that are giving them crap. Yeah. The people writing the emails. The people showing up to their office, booking meetings, yes, like this annoying person here that has done that in the past, and your local MPPs and MPs know about me. They know how annoying I can be. And the reason why I'm saying that they have that base that's engaging with government, their councillors, their MPs and MPPs are forced to interact with them because they're constituents. And we're not that engaged in government. So that's why up until this time, they were getting everything that they were asking for because there was no other voice. So so as a politician, if you're hearing one side of the story and it's only the loud pieces that are coming to you and the silent majority is not saying anything, they don't know that there's a silent majority. Where they perceive it is as, oh, this is a political issue coming towards me. There's stakeholders and votes involved. I need to pay attention to their needs because they will clearly vote because they're clearly engaged. When the silent majority comes and says, yeah, that's also not a problem for us, there's forms to do that. And again, the Nurturing Neighborhoods is a great forum for community safety. Online engagement is a great platform for a majority like that, or teletown halls, or just even phone surveys, right? Whatever way we can get the silent majority to engage with government, you'll have a much better outcome for that question because data drives every decision and it can skew decisions as well. So if your total participants in a discussion are only the naysayers, your total sample size is naysayers. So government's going to look at that like, oh, sample size is all naysayers. Yeah, this is a Brampton-wide consensus. That's I'm being honest about it. That's how policymakers make their decision. As crazy as it sounds, if there's a sample size of 50 and they did a outreach or a survey or a canvas of public sentiment, they can skew that conversation there.
Yeah,
and there's not enough people there to
let's
actually
let's
count
address
it.
the air quotes, right? The air quotes is that sample size is it a targeted few that are always constantly being spoken to? Is there a real effort to actually like get out there, engage with everybody? It's like there isn't. So I'll answer the question myself. But is it purposefully done? Do you think that we only
100.
deal with a certain segment?
I would completely agree. If I was, I don't want to listen. I want the
Yeah.
vote. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to do the work. I mean, that's just the, why would you want to have a queue of hundreds of people? It involves work. So
There you go. I
it
think
involves work. That's the thing.
that's one sentiment. The other sentiment is, I think we're just bad at engagement at City of Brampton. And I think last couple of years in the pandemic really showed them how poorly they understood the people's issues, because the PR fragmented reality that they were living in came like ripped open, like, nope, we don't have healthcare, we don't have health services, domestic violence is just peering through. In the isolation hotels, I thought I was going to do chest assessments and lung assessments. Bro, I was doing trauma assessments and domestic violence assessments and substance use assessments. It's so much so my eyes opened up. I'm like, where is all the funding that we get through Service Canada, the population health grants, ODSP, all of these services? Where are they? Where are the outcomes? Right? And you turn around and you're like, oh, they're just talking to the same people, and nobody's actually paying attention. And nor should people be holding that level of accountability to government at all times. Nor can they have the capacity, because people have lives, man. You guys clearly have other things to do other than just look at policy reports. But unfortunately, that's led to them sneaking in things that we couldn't really address until the ugly truth couldn't come out in a much more stronger way, and it did. And I tried my best on my personal level to start a nonprofit to address those concerns. We did a pilot project in downtown Brampton. It actually led to less police interactions, less loitering. The business community on George Street and the surrounding areas actually liked what we're doing. So we took a person that would possibly be in a state of psychosis, go to the ER, spend 12 hours there with a psychiatric evaluation, then get out, a couple of hours later, come back again. That's at least $6,000 per day. And I'm just accounting for the medical, not even the police officer that has to stay there until the psychiatrist releases them, and the nuances around that, how much that's costing the system. Our services were $300 a day for 70 individuals. $300 compared to $6,000. That's real evidence-based approaches that met with what the issue was. Due to root cause analysis, it was, okay, they don't have access to primary care services. They don't have an addiction specialist. Let's try to see if we can make a model that works. And we found one. It works. And I want to implement that all across Brampton.
So, like on the flip side of that, like I completely agree with that. But on the flip side, am I the only one thing that our community is kind of bad at engagement as well? I mean, the city's obviously has its own inherent problems, but our Punjabi community, let's say, we love to be in politics. We love to take pictures with politicians. We like to complain. That's the main thing we all like to do. We do like to complain in general. I think if that narrative changes, we'll probably see some positive changes in Brampton, as you're saying. So if people like yourself do start to create programs or raise awareness or avenues where we can actually bring those problems to our forefront, and our community maybe has a better understanding, hopefully that catalyzes a change. I don't know. I mean, my always thing has been our community doesn't care, because when townhouses are being built, they're like, no one complains about the rezoning, but when the townhouse up, oh my god, Brampton is X, Y, Z. But
some of the things are in camera.
Yeah.
Some of the things are put in locations where their bare minimum requirement for engagement is putting up a sign. If you're not driving by that specific location, you're not going to see it. But I again come back to the social support task force during COVID, not even the isolation program. So I made a concerted effort to join all the nonprofits that I knew, United Six, Khalsa Aid, all the Gurdwara, because they were doing langar. everybody was giving out longer, right? So I'm like, yo, they're doing this. Why don't they just connect with the city? Because I'm sure other people are having challenges with food right now. And I connected them with emergency management, did initial conversations, and just stepped back. The Punjabi community infrastructure, when they teamed up with City of Brampton, and they're like, yo, this exists. They went ham. They did so much good. And all it took was an initial conversation connecting the emergency management department of the city of Brampton with the Gurdwara and the social services spaces. And I think we just need that collaboration. And now that's a cemented relation. And going forward in time, if there's any crisis, you always see Khalsa there teaming up with the city of Brampton and Gurdwara teaming up. And they understand when, emergency management response and how we, induct our social infrastructure into the city infrastructure, and they get recognition. You know how many uncles were happy? Like, ਆਪਾਂ ਨੇ ਅੱਜ ਤੱਕ ਸਿਟੀ ਨਾ ਕਦੇ ਇਦਾਂ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ। ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਆਉਂਦਾ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਟਿਕਟਾਂ ਫੜਾਉਂਦਾ, ਅੱਜ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਡੀ ਹੈਲਪ ਕਰੋ। ਪਹਿਲੀ ਵਾਰੀ ਹੋਇਆ। I'm like, yeah, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਗੱਲ ਵੀ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੋ ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪੰਗੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ, ਇਦਾਂ ਵੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰੀਦੀ ਆ, ਤਾਂ ਕਰਕੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਕਿ they're here too, and they're here to help. And the narrative completely changes in terms of how they engage with government, because up until this point, it's always been punitive, right? And that's just a trauma response that we've had for generations. It's not their fault that they have low trust in government. They've been screwed by government. That's a whole separate conversation for a different day. But how do we change that narrative now? It's engaging and making positive experiences, right? And honest ones with people that are serving the community. And I think it is community service, and we need to start looking at it like that. It's not a legacy, right? If I'm elected, I would just do one term, find somebody else that is just as passionate about the community and has a generation that is upcoming. I'm a millennial, so they're younger people than me that are facing different challenges. Give them the right people that have done the right work. Give them a chance to implement some nuanced ideas that can lead us to the future. Because I'm a dinosaur now, right? And that generational shift is going to continue to happen. And if we sustain innovation in that sense, we're going to have a really great city. I genuinely believe Brampton is home, and it will continue to be home for a lot of people. It's just the quality of life needs to match the imagination a lot of Bramptonians have. We've made Giller Prize winners come out of the city. Half of soccer, Canada's national soccer team is from Brampton. Look at all the Russell P, all the comedians, you guys, every the Pontic Twitter people, everybody that's moving the world. Brampton's home for that, and I think any other diaspora outside, and can't claim the amount of wins that Brampton has had, and we've done it as a byproduct. We've not even intentionally tried to really force the conversation. It's a byproduct of just how in Jagardi we are, and I take that word with pride. But there's some times where that Jagard mentality needs to be met with official planning as well, because that ingenuity that we have can solve a lot of our bottlenecks. But if it's met with the right evidence, the Jagard is more evidence-based, and that's what we need, is a more evidence-based Jagard. I'm the first one to say it. Maybe hopefully it's a thing that catches on, but we
That's
need
the tagline.
That's the tagline.
Oh, that's excellent, man.
I'm
All right.
printing that on
amazing.
my lit.
Yo, you're still printing lit. That's lit,
You're-
lit, man.
All right. So one quick
Yeah,
question
I got
while you're.
ideas. I did it right. I listen to all you.
October 11th is the final day, by the way, just to put your stuff if you're going to Canada Post. Yeah, just an FYI.
I gotta write that down.
One question I had, I guess. You're,
October 11th.
You're running Wards 3-4.
Yeah.
Home of Sheridan
Hanji.
Plaza. What's
Yes.
the response been like from? Because I'm sure you knock on a bunch of doors where the response you get is, we're just renting this place. That person you're looking for doesn't live here.
Yeah.
Do you still engage with those guys? Ask them what they
course I do.
need change, and then
Of course I do.
And I'm sure you hear it from the other side where you talk to landlords and they're like, "Look, we don't like the fact that our neighborhood's now all of a sudden housing 1 million people. When
Yeah.
we thought we were moving into a quiet neighborhood or something."
Yeah.
How
am I I'll tell again, let's pretend you're the person that opened the door, and those are your two responses from two different cohorts. If you're an international student, or if you're a tenant, or if you're a new immigrant, my response to you is always, listen, I know you can't vote now, but these are the issues that I'm running on. My email is there. Continue to engage with government. And also, if they don't know the challenges or their culture norms that they're trying to contextualize in the Canadian experience, you give them some insights. Like, okay, man, I get that your roommate moved out and you need to throw the mattress out, but maybe let's not put it outside on the lawn. You can call the region appeal, get a couple of tags, they'll pick it up on this day. They're like, yo, nobody told us this. I'm like, all right, so maybe there's an information deficit that isn't transferred. And I think if we have all gone to school, right, in different places, colleges or universities, we have Frosh Week, right? All the fungi happen, but the city's planned for that. The residents know what's going to happen. We don't have that in Brampton for all the plaza colleges. They don't even have counselors, staff, on-campus housing, off-campus housing. How did the city of Brampton give them business licenses? That's the first question I want to ask. And as your counselor, I would not be giving licenses to any plaza colleges that don't have the appropriate student supports prior to enrollment, because we're doing a disservice to them. We're doing a disservice to the city. And more importantly, the student that's coming here from wherever part of the world is not getting the right support. And this is symptom management at its best. What's the cause for, again, it comes back to addiction. I talked to the plaza owners there. They said people don't feel safe. Families don't want to come here at night. And in my head, I'm like, oh, this is actually something that we need to discuss. You talk to the students that are there, or the quote unquote students, which is like a mishmash of people that are either students or just recently moved there. They're looking for a sense of community. And you talk to them about their experiences. They talk about how they've been exploited in the city by their own people, or don't have been given the right choices or the right pathways. And it's not coffee in their Tim Horton cups. It's alcohol. So if you didn't have the right coping mechanisms, or you didn't have the right platforms where you can access the change or the help that you needed, you're going to cope, and they cope negatively with substances. So that is what's happening. And the city of Brampton can have an off-campus housing department, work with all the cultural institutions. Sheridan College is working on something called the Brampton Charter. It's in its initial phases, which will iron all of this out. You have a conversation with all the plaza colleges owner, private and public, and let them know, like, hey, this is a housing crisis that you guys are adding on to. The city is already getting 20,000 people every year. If this is something that you want to build here, we need to see a plan. But again, that accountability and the stakeholder relationship needs to be from government, and government at a local level is not really doing that. Right? That's the frustration. So we're all frustrated by the outcomes and the lack of planning, but it all stems down to government didn't do its job prior to the implementation. There's no oversight, and there's no feedback from the stakeholders involved, students or otherwise. Now they've retroactively gone and done stuff that they should have done before allowing people to come to save face. But again, everybody that's looking at this from a logical perspective, you need to have the engagement prior to the implementation. And that's the culture that we need to shift in the city of Brampton. Is we're problem focused, we're not solution oriented, and we're not big picture, right? We're not proactive, we're reactive. And that's not a good way to plan a city. There's no planning.
100%. So on that same vein, isn't it crazy how we expect people to pay taxes and, access city services, but they can't vote on it or vote on any issues? I mean, people with PR, they're paying taxes.
Yeah.
They're buying into the system services, the city services, but they have no say whatsoever. It's actually kind of ridiculous.
It is, and I think I'm open to reforming that, but then again, this is a conversation we need to have with all levels of government, because I think that's government of Ontario would be the one in our jurisdiction that would be involved in that. If there's any stakeholder changes that who's allowed to vote, and of course then Government of Canada would chime in as well if we're going down that pathway. But I think if that's an innovation that we want to pursue, why not? Let's have that conversation and see where that goes. Because you're right. I think residents should be part of the stakeholder process. Currently, what they can do is still engage with the city. Nothing is stopping them getting on committees, sharing their opinions, talking to their councillors. And I think all councillors need to focus on people living in the ward as opposed to who votes for me. And I think if they take that lens of looking at problems, they will bode quite well, and that city will do quite well because not everybody here is a citizen. Not everybody here is even PR. Some people are from Quebec. They've just been here for a very, very long time with different license plates.
Saskatchewan and Nova
Or
Scotia,
Saskatchewan,
Alberta.
Manitoba, and there's reasons for that. But we need to be honest and straightforward with those concerns in a very a nuanced way with some compassion. I think that if you use that lens, you have veracity, you have compassion. I think you'll be okay in what decisions you make. But if you're misguided or just ignorant, or sidestepping important conversations for the picture of I'm doing the best I can for my voters and I have a base and that's all I need to cater to, then you're going to continue to get the status quo. And quite frankly, I think this is once in a lifetime chance for Brampton. And I'm not just speaking for myself. There's a lot of incredibly talented and very meaningful candidates this election.
That guy.
Yeah, this guy too, man. Like you never know. We had some good conversations, right? And I mean that in the most earnest way. Like they're people that care about this. Yeah, he did. He did.
I don't know which way their windows are pointing because their windows are all on separate sides, right? And then they get rearranged. They get rearranged when I do the post edit.
That's all right. I hope I didn't point at him.
You were pointing to nothing because I think
No, I pointed this way. Ryan, that's the Ranjit on the screen.
Text to me.
Yeah. Anyway, just trying to keep the conversation moving. Like you're running against Martin Maderos, right?
Yes,
so
I am.
Incumbent regional councillor, beating an incumbent who's been there for a while is tough.
It's tough. I'm the first one to say tough road ahead.
And
but
how's the response been when you've talked to people? Have they been like, "Oh no,
They don't even mention his name. They don't even mention his name. They're like, "Who? Oh, pata nahi. Acha ma sunaya na." But okay. Or if it's the Punjabi household, they're like, "Pata nahi sanu kaun hai." Like, do you know who your counselor is? Half of them don't even know who it is. Right? That's how poor the engagement is. Right?
That's the problem, man.
Yo, because in their head, I'll be honest.
What is a trustee? Yeah, what is a trustee? Yeah.
ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਟਰਸਟੀ ਕੀ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕੁਝ ਨਹੀਂ ਪਤਾ ਵੋਟ ਪਾਈ ਦੀ ਆ ਬਸ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ and the first question they asked me is like okay ਤੂੰ party ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਆ like I'm like no municipal has no parties like I'm a team Brampton I'm not supporting ਏਦਾਂ ਦੀ ਵੀ election ਹੁੰਦੀ ਆ Brampton I'm like yeah there is and that's like the one end of the other end is they're very like hyper fixated in terms of the issues and they have very nuanced conversation and that's good. But to be honest, I think if you look at the state of political discourse and engagement from our incumbents, it's always been they'll glad hand, they'll take pictures, they'll show up to events, they'll say the bare minimum, and they only come around election time. They don't come around checking in when things are going wrong, or if they're checking in, they're selectively checking in a certain few people that they know are their well-wishers. And that's not how government should work. Governments are, whether people vote you in or they don't vote you in, you're still responsible for that entire area, and not just residents, businesses too. Businesses are struggling in the downtown, and even the lot of the repair shops by Rutherford, they're complaining. They're like, yo, we're not getting approval for the rezonings. The Gurdwara on Timberlane, that's been asking for that land for parking for the longest time, and that's just vacant. Like it just makes no lick of sense why that land is not being allocated under the towers there for parking. That should be given to them. Timberlane Park, that gazebo, people have come there and taken pictures like, oh, we're giving a progress update. Like he put it out as like a statement like, oh, we're giving a progress update and how good the construction is going. Brother, it's been there for 8 years. Right? And they're parts of new subdivisions that they have greenlit and they've put the subdivision there. Recreation centers haven't seen the light of days in 8 years. And they're literally potholes forming on new subdivision roads, and there's still not a recreation center. That is bonkers to me. Like it's not okay that we're greenlighting subdivisions and not the services that are needed. And every part of the neighborhood that I'm going, old and new, is saying we don't have enough city services. Or, when the storm happened in the downtown, they didn't come up and pick up the trees. Or if I'm another part of the ward, they're saying we're too far away from everything. It's easier for me to go to Credit Valley. Where's the police station? We literally have so this is, I'm going to be a classic example of how like self-fulfilling their way of government is. They were happy that we got a virtual police station right across from City Hall. If you ever walk, you'll find this virtual police station. There's nobody in there. Literally nobody in there. It's same as you calling 911. Why are we paying taxpayer dollars to have frontage of a store and paying money to a landlord to have a virtual police station that I personally went into after my car got broken into 3 times this last year? They're like, Joe, just call 911, call the non-emergency line. I'm like, I needed to come open this door for you to tell me to call the non-emergency line? Like, are we paying taxpayers dollars for that? I don't need to say that's a bad decision. But if you watch the council meeting when they announced it, oh, look at that. Brampton got a brand new police station. They're highlighting the fact that it's a police station. But if you look at the utilization of what the outcomes are of that space and what that's actually empirically doing for the city, it's diddly squat. And it's that sort of like overhaul of the PR that they do. That's residents are like, yo, what are they saying? There's a police station here. It's like, this is it. And you actually try to use it. And the experience is like, it's futile.
It doesn't match up.
It doesn't match up. And that's the level of challenges Bramptonians have been facing for a very, very long time. And it's not just the South Asian community that's been seeing that. There's so many immigrant communities here that I didn't even know existed. We have a thriving Latin American community in the downtown core in Worsley and 4. Who's talking to them? We have a Nepalese community in Worsley and 4. Who's talking to these people? And they've been here for 25 years. 25 years. That's like 1 or 2 generations of people that have come in the city, lived their life, nobody engaged with them, right? And that's the level of discourse and government that we're having. Brampton is one of those towns that, I should say city, not a town anymore. We're acting like we're a town in the way we run business, to be quite honest. But we're a city now that is going to constantly see change, right? People and communities that are coming through this city are going to leave their mark. It's up to the communities then to preserve the heritage that they have created, or blossom it into something more beautiful and robust that is characteristic of the city is trying to be, or respecting its the communities that live there. We don't have that approach in government. We don't have that nuanced approach of, if we shine a light on all the lovely industries that are here. Everybody loves Hakka food. 90% of those restaurants are actually Nepalese. They're not Indian. The recipes are actually from Nepal. And momos, everybody's a big thing in cuisine now. That's Nepalese. Like, it's
Please, yeah.
and my eyes opened up and seeing, walking the wards, and we would never do this. Like, if I wasn't running, there was no reason for me to walk around different parts of Brampton, knock on people's doors, like, hey, I'm Ameek, tell me a little bit about yourself. And then, but maybe we do need to do that in some capacity as neighbors, right? We do need to have more engagement with one another. The housing market has led to us not knowing our neighbors anymore, right? And it's not our fault that things are the way they are. People want to live, people want to move, they're making investments. I'm sure you guys have covered this topic to death, the real estate as a challenge and everything coming along with that.
He's clearly he listens to the podcast clearly.
I'm real, man. I love you guys because you guys have honest conversation, right? And this is what we need. We need to make sure that we're talking to one another and having engagement with one another in a positive way. Because anytime there's an event or an emergency, we're very reactive. We talk about it for a week or so. Again, my example of the Quebec Jeep with a Desi Bandai in it that's been living for Brampton for years. Who knows? We talk about it, but in a week later, another crazy story will happen and we'll forget it, right? And we're living on that social media, but we have to step back and look at it like, how do we get here? And how can we improve it? I think that's government's job.
I also do think the winds are changing. I mean, if people like yourself keep stepping up to the plate and highlighting the issues, and especially with the engagement, and there's people like us that, we hear people like yourself speak.
I was trying to see what angle you had for us being in this. I'm like, I'm not doing any change.
No, I don't mean, I definitely don't include us in his on his level. But what I'm trying to say is that, places like Oakville, places like any of these other municipalities where we look and we're like, oh, it's amazing. The reason is because the councillors are scared. They're scared to lose their seats. They're not scared here. And those winds are changing. And I think, just, you can just cruise by because no one's going to come out and vote. This community, yeah, they complain, yeah, they do it, but they don't come out to the polls or they don't come out and,
Yes.
complain. And I think that's my feeling is, as our generation does get older and we still reside in the city, those winds are changing. I think there will be these guys or that type of politician, those days are limited. And if
I
people like
hope
yourself
so.
I think so. I think, you're hopefully with your win, you will be a shining example of that to lead others on that charge. But I think it's definitely needed. And I think you've highlighted how important it is. So thank you to you for bringing that up today.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. I think this is the most civilized conversation I've heard in the podcast in a long time. You guys are actually picking each other up and giving positive feedback. So this is new, man. This is new for me.
Well,
That feels like-
Yes, until you leave and then it's back on.
So,
Okay, fair
so
point.
on that note, I'm giving you the option now if you want to close up.
Yeah,
Or,
yes, just
or if you want to stick
a
around
proper,
for
a
some of the other
proper introduction
topics.
to yourself, not with the one that Randy butchered at the beginning there, and speak to your potential voters.
Well, anybody that lives in Brampton, my message is vote. Please, please vote. See what your candidate cards that are coming in your mail. Ones that aren't even showing up, look them up. See if they have any scope. How they're trying to remedy the problems that you're facing every single day. And even after the election, try to engage with government. There's different ways to do it. Sometimes it takes a minute. Most ministries have like a minute survey that you can do. Or 2-minute survey, and it's led to change. The Fair Deal for Brampton is a shining example of that, how galvanized people were. And all I did was share the Ministry of Health and Ministry of Finance's link for their budget. So every year they have that. It doesn't matter if it's an election year or not. So maybe we need to start going on these pathways and engaging with government and our border trade. Make sure if you have a business, you engage with them. They have lovely ideas that they want to bold and make your business plans better. And they also need to do a better job in engaging with new businesses. That's my message to everyone. Just vote, go out there and vote. And if you live in Ward 3 and 4, consider me as a candidate for regional council. And I'm going to continue to live in the ward. I'm going to continue to do the work. Please vote this election. That's all I got to say.
Excellent,
Okay.
excellent. Ameek, it's been a pleasure, man.
Likewise.
I'm,
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
I'm very intrigued and surprised. So
Robbie's
thank you for
more
coming
like,
on.
shit.
I'm blown away, man.
Robbie's like, damn, I need to figure out how to.
This is great.
Robbie's like, finally an intelligent conversation.
All right, my man. Great talking to you, brother.
All right.
And
Thank you. Take care.
hopefully in person, and everybody else, that was our only listener. So they finally met that mystery, that one mystery listener we keep talking about. So
Yeah.
here.
All right.
All right, my friend.
Okay, guys. Sausage-
Take care.
care.
Sausage, Ecology.
Play.
All right, so that was Ameek Singh. I'm gonna
Yeah,
get his name
he-
right.
I mean,
Ameek
you just
Singh.
did it again.
Yo,
You just
dude,
did it again.
Look,
He
man.
fucking needs to win. That guy needs to win.
But Robbie's like, that's the type of politician I'd vote for.
No, dude, that fucking guy was impressive. Like, and he's a nurse? Fuck. Good for him. I'm impressed.
All I'm gonna say, and I said this to Ameek, is we need to ease up on these speed boxes, man. I hate these speed boxes.
People just paint over them anyways.
Huh?
People just paint over them anyways.
They do, and I
Yo,
want to
if
make
they were-
it so
if-
that
if
we
they
don't
were
waste
better,
paint.
If they were better and the money went to a good cause or went to the hospital, all for it, man. Why not?
Look, I'm all for safer neighborhoods. I'm all for thing. Just don't send me a bill for going 15 over.
Every year, it changes where that money goes to.
Oh, does it?
When
I
you
didn't
go to
know.
hospital, imagine as a concept. You
A
know,
lottery.
you-
If it went to a lottery, that'd be dope as hell. The Brampton
One-
lottery.
One resident.
The Brampton traffic
like
lottery.
a 50-50.
Yeah, it's a total 50-50. It'll go
If
somewhere.
you get a ticket, you're in the pot.
Yeah.
Too much of the money. Yeah.
Holy smokes, I'm blowing my mind with these smart ideas we're bringing up. Talking about smart ideas, was not a smart idea by UNCC security in America. Did you guys see this video?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Singh getting escorted out for his Kirpan. Someone called the police, said, hey, there's a guy sitting in the common area, seems a pretty suspect. He has a giant knife. Y'all, looks kind of like Osama. Y'all gotta act on that shit. And then,
I think I'm not surprised at the complaint. I mean, the locality which you speak of is not the most of highest intelligence.
University.
yeah, it's a university, man.
That does no. I'm talking about. It's not.
You're saying it's
Come
in
on.
the south.
I'm coming. Come on, guys. Come on. All right. But I think that I think the handling of the situation by the police officer without having a reasonable conversation, um, that was surprising. The guy just arrested him, took him away, like talked
His
to him about it,
mistake
right?
was it was a Kirpan and not a gun. If it's like a gun, I'd be like, oh, it's just a 9mm, and we know what those are.
I mean, I think their policy is they can't have anything. So maybe,
On school, yeah.
yeah. So I mean, there's that.
And
One, did
it's
he know?
there's no excuse. Like, fine, if he was detained or arrested, like, it should have been like a 5-minute thing.
Yeah,
Someone
yeah.
just had to just Google.
But if it's the
What the
school's
hell that is.
policy, I mean, and that we got to educate the school. I'm not saying the school's right. I mean, there's obviously some kind of discrepancy between, you know, what they think is acceptable and maybe he didn't inform them.
I think
Right.
it's interesting because these are things that were going on a long time ago, like when we were coming up. And obviously, living in Canada, I think we get spoiled to a degree with organizations like the WSO who take on a lot of this stuff, and it just
Yeah.
gets handled. And now it's kind of like,
Oh, you know,
Oh,
I mean,
oh, we-
they only have this tiny organization called Sick Coalition that doesn't have a lot of $1 million.
Ranjit's
Randy was waiting.
Ranjit's quest continues, ladies and gentlemen, against the
Yeah.
American organizations.
Dude, there's no excuse. There's absolutely no excuse. Why
This is
every
his-
major
This is his
university
crusade. This is his crusade.
doesn't know what the IT department wears underneath their clothes. Okay? They know about
That's
the bonds.
really. You're saying their IT department is all Punjabi?
Or the doctors, or the science department, or like med school, anybody in their med school. I'm saying there's a lot of Punjabis and Sikhs out there,
But
okay?
do you think
Yes.
on that how do I word this? Do you think we automatically assume, because it's like you guys said, it's very common in the GTA, Canada, so on and so forth, to see a Kirpan. Do you think we are overly surprised when this kind of situation happens in the States? I mean, if you're a culture that doesn't know what a Sikh is or a Kirpan and you see that, I mean, the complaint seems like a Karen. I'm just going to put that out there. But I'm not shocked of the police officers' mentality, be it right or wrong. Yeah, I mean, like, I'm just saying, like, are they, as, we're kind of blessed in the sense that, people are exposed to us a lot more here, I think, than down there.
That's my takeaway a lot of times is when I
Yeah.
saw it. Am I surprised? No, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, oh man, I got it easy here. Six in America still got to deal with these fights, and they're gonna deal with them a lot more than we are.
I
No, they're all-
disagree.
like,
I disagree. I disagree.
This
Dude,
guy.
it's 2022. And it's the
I-
age where everybody, okay, it's not like 2004 where people just started getting data plans, right? Like everybody has access to the internet.
But
in their
you're
hands.
you're also assuming that population can read.
Okay, you are making the stretch now. Okay,
I'm dealing with like two
I'm being
completely
real.
different.
I'm being real. This age in cancel culture, in a wave of like where ignorance is
Yeah,
is
but look at
dominant.
what was that girl's name? That comedian, Just Hilarious, was on a plane and complained against the Sardars, saying, "Oh, I don't want no Osama on the plane," and she got them kicked off a plane. She was a comedian who's been all around the country. She's famous, millions of followers, and she didn't understand why that was wrong. This is what I'm trying to imply, that there is a discrepancy where we sometimes think, well, you should know this. I just don't think they're well versed in other cultures as you might think they are.
Okay. Maybe
That's what I'm trying to say.
stand-up comedian doesn't, but an institution of education, I might hold them crazy enough to a higher standard.
I mean, how about here? Was there issues here at university? Did that ever come up?
Baby steps, yeah.
Baby
Yeah.
steps.
Back in like the early 2000s.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but is
even
he
late
is he
90s
one
and
of
stuff.
is he one of the first few students in that university or college, or do they have a strong, large contingent of
I mean, they're not gonna
Amritari
have a.
Kirpan?
Let's
That's
be real.
that.
I don't
but-
expect UCC to have like a giant sick.
Whereas I
student
would say
association, right?
I would say Berkeley would be different, right? It's California, a lot of Punjabis there.
But even
Probably a
then,
little bit.
it comes down to like the type of Sikh and Punjabi, and I say this in the regard that not all Sikhs want to be associated with a Sikh group, and that's something I kind of experienced when I was going. Is you had like the Punjabi Student Association, then you had the Sikh Student Associations, and they kind of divided populations, but they didn't want to take on those kind of issues in the same.
No, I don't mean by that. I just meant that there's, in terms of quantity, is there enough numbers of them at these institutions where you can actually identify them as a group from a college or university standpoint? Say, well, for this particular group of people, we need to have some, acceptances. But I'm saying maybe that university didn't. There isn't a lot of people there, and this
which is fair. Maybe this is their first time seeing a thing. But even in schools which have a big, broad Punjabi population, a lot of Singhs when they get to university or something, not all of them are like this guy. Kirpan on top, he's wearing, it seemed like he was just he was pretty like bare. Not like
he was just chilling at
he's
school.
Chilling, right? He was Kashira, he had his thing on, his jug on, and he's just kind of hanging out post whatever pre going to bed. I'm going to school. I know when I went to school, there weren't too many of us who were like wearing our kirpans out.
Excuse my ignorance on that. Is that a requirement on how you wear it or where you wear it?
No, there's no requirement. It was more just Anik thing from the things I knew.
Okay.
Some of the things I associated with, they were a little bit more, it's my kirpan, it's not a big deal. And then you would find things where like, I don't want to alarm anyone. My shorty kirpan by there's certain degrees, and I'm not saying one group is better than the other. I've rocked a situation where I've rocked a shorty kirpan underneath and stuff because I'm like, I don't want to rock a big kirpan here. And all I'm saying is this guy definitely probably is one of the first Singhs with that kind of anik, and I got nothing but respect for him for the way he dealt with it.
Sure.
For
sure.
Out there and not hiding it or being a coward, like, my shorty kirpan by the. And then I think he's trailblazing enough that maybe this is the first Singh who has openly worded his cause been an issue type thing. And I think that's probably true for a lot of America.
When you go into like a courthouse in America or anything, like, I'm sure there's rules against wearing it there. I mean, they haven't come around to.
We've only recently gotten it done here, like
here, right? So America's a whole different story.
So right now lawyers can, from my understanding, but if you're like going in as an observer, you got to get some sort of accommodations done pre-attendance. From my understanding, it may have been changed since, but I know there's been cases where people were asked to leave the court because of kirpans, or they were asked to leave it with someone at the front. So for me, a situation like this just reminds me of, well, what we've gotten and the comforts we've gotten here are still being sought out.
Yeah.
We're still kind of behind there. So I don't know.
It wasn't surprising, if that's the question. Was I surprised? No. I mean, I'm sure he's not the only one. He's just luckily someone got it on video. I'm sure that happens a lot more. I'm sure a lot more people are kind of abused and harassed in that way. So it's unfortunate, but not surprised.
All right, quickly moving on. Russia versus Ukraine. You guys have any updated thoughts on this?
Go for it. Ranji's been waiting patiently.
Ranji's really wanted this on the docket today.
Stop talking about the city, guys. I just want to talk about Russia. No, so it's kind of crazy. I guess, just bring everybody up to speed. Over the last few months, Russia had gained a lot of ground in Ukraine on the eastern side, and like within a week, just last week actually, or 2 weeks ago, Ukraine took most of it back. It was a crazy counteroffensive, totally bastard Russia. It's so bad.
Why does this feel like the ESPN sports analyst? Like in the first quarter, Russia really took it to the Ukrainians, but they fought back in the second, and they've taken back all ground.
I think in 4 days they beat them back like 300 kilometers or some shit along like 1,000-mile stretch. It's crazy.
I'm just shocked in how invested in this you are, but let's keep going.
Yeah, so Russia's done a couple of things. Now they called for conscriptions. More
Is that a sign of weakness?
100%.
100%. Yeah.
That's like, that is desperation. That is
Yeah.
stinking in desperation. Okay.
That means our military force is not strong. And what he needs is a big win, I'm guessing. And
Yeah.
that's why he's doing this, because if they can't beat the country right next door to them on a world stage,
Are you
And
gonna
now
fuck
people are
with?
going with like on Telegram on these like back channels. You see videos of these new troops going with rusted AK-47s that you can't even clock back. Okay, it's crazy. Um, and on the other hand, like there is some like master chess play going on. Putin is supporting referendums in Ukraine held Russian. It was in Ukraine that they're holding. They're saying, "Oh, the locals there want to separate and be their own country," so they're holding referendums. Like, one that happened here not too long ago. Um, and the idea is like, if you think about it, if a certain state or section of Russian-held Ukraine says, "Yeah, we want to separate. We recognize our independence, and we're gonna be part of Russia, but we're gonna have some autonomy." Well, now, if Ukraine attacks that city to get it back, well, they're attacking Russia. It's no longer a defensive war, and now that kind of like raises the bar. It makes it easier for them to use like targeted nuclear weapons because now they're defending themselves. It's no longer an offensive thing, right? So this referendum that people have been challenging and saying we're not going to recognize, there's like, I guess, a chess play to that too.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm gonna totally cycle on to Palestine referendum from this, even though I forgot to put it in the notes because I'm an idiot. Don't countries need it in their constitution to recognize referendums?
I don't know.
idea.
Because I was
Do they?
looking at.
I
I
would
was
say
look-
I'd say that's country to country, probably.
Yeah, because I was looking at what the difference is in. So obviously, when the whole referendum vote here happened, I was like, you're getting a bunch of six to vote on a referendum that's open to only six, and obviously the people is
It's open to anybody.
okay. It just felt like a very let's skew this vote to just.
Well, no one's gonna vote no.
No, exactly. Like,
Yeah,
who's
that's
voting
what you're
no?
getting at. They're like,
Who's
no,
in line that long to vote no?
Yeah, who's
Yeah.
standing up and spending their Saturday to vote no?
yeah, yeah.
And then so
yeah.
I started obviously looking at referendum acts. I'm like, hold on. So how does a referendum actually get recognized? Because they're like, we're going to go to the UN, but and then I'm like, well, does the UN decide if a country has to recognize a certain people's sovereignty within a country? And it's like, no, the country itself has to recognize it. And so Canada and Quebec, I'm like, how does that work? Canada, from what I read, when they were getting all the provinces together, they gave them this clause like, look, if your province wants out of the broader unit, you can have a referendum and we'll recognize it. And they added the parameters for the referendums. I don't think India has a.
I was
Thing like
told
that.
today that the UN recognizes a referendum, that the UN will send somebody to, arm the border. I was told that, and then I said, "Thank you, please vote for me."
A lot of misinformation on that
There's
stuff.
a lot of like misinformation about what can and can't happen with.
But like
this
even I didn't
referendum.
truly understand. Like it got me trying to figure out what it is, and I talked to like people I deem really smart on this stuff. Because like, come on, don't pull my dick with. You're gonna get the UN to.
You didn't have to say that.
What?
You usually didn't have to say that.
All I'm saying is you don't have to like BS me. Give me the what's going on, right? And he's like, listen, I understand your
Yeah.
concerns, but like at the very least, what this does for people is in the media,
raises awareness.
it raises awareness. Now, when the media and the National Post or your that fool with a mustache come out and say, "Hey, it's a fringe group," you can be like, "Well, that fringe group had 100,000 people come out on a Saturday evening and wait hours in line to, put their names saying, hey, we're one of those fringe people."
I'd be interested to see how many of those people actually go vote for their own city elections. Be very interesting. I'm just generally like when you said 100,000 people came out. I'm like, did that many people even vote in the Brampton elections? Does that ever even happen?
Yeah,
But this wasn't just. I mean, this wasn't just Brampton. It was It was open to all six within.
Oh, I
Right.
see. Okay,
Ontario.
fair enough.
So it's not just like They didn't
Fair
have wards represented. taking
So
his vote on.
they're going to have another date in Toronto, I believe. They're doing like West Coast too. They're doing India apparently as well, and all over the U.S. and UK. I'm curious to see how India handles this referendum vote. It's probably not going to happen, right?
I don't know, but I think it.
I mean, look,
They just allow it.
am I the only one thinking it? Like, what's the point?
Well,
I mean-
in my mind, it at least does give like when India says it's a small minority or very, it puts a number to it. Like, what is a small minority? A population of 600,000, 100,000 people vote. Ooh, well, that's not so small of a percentage that you made us think it was. Well, now as a politician, maybe I'm not too scared to work with these guys just because, you know.
But do you think like if you're a non-resident, if you like us, we're not residents
No,
of
no.
India.
All right, screw India.
Yeah.
The way this guy explained it to me that made a lot of sense was, don't focus it on the obvious, like what's being labeled a referendum within India. He's like, yeah, there is. He even told me, he's like, look, this isn't a goal to make Khalistan within India, but he's like, at the very least, it makes India realize it when they tell the media and when they tell the papers that no, dasajane anjere mangadeya. Now you got 100,000 here in Brampton. What about Surrey? Oh shit, you guys got 200,000 in Surrey? Oh shit, California. How many people voted yes in California? Huh? You guys told us it's a small population, but of the 1 million registered 6 we have on our thing, this many voted or came out to acknowledge. It's kind of like a petition.
I mean, do you think they don't know that?
No, so they might not know it, but it's more of a move for the media. When you go to them, the go to MPs, the go to politicians, it's like, listen, don't be afraid to speak on this issue, thinking that it's only going to affect
Oh,
more
I see.
people.
You're saying from the Western perspective.
It's
Okay,
kinda like
not in India. Okay.
Think of it more not even as a referendum vote, but a census vote on how many Sikhs care about this and what it means to them type issue. And now you know this number. Maybe you shouldn't be too shy to, or you shouldn't be quick to label it a fringe issue. Maybe you should be willing to give it a bit of like levity, if not levity, but give it a bit of freedom. Like just
You give it some weight.
give it some
Yeah.
weight. Give it some weight, exactly. So I thought from that perspective, obviously I also have like the opposite side of it, which is like, who are these guys hosting it? I openly to say I don't trust Six for Justice. I've never really understood them. They've done a lot of random things. The PR they put out just turns me off a lot of times, just from a Sikhi standpoint. So I'm just going, I don't know if I trust y'all, but look, when it comes to Komi issues, if something positive can come out of this, I'm all for it. But that was the best. And again, this isn't something I got from a member of SFJ. This was someone else who I thought was like, yo, you're really smart. You're really vocal about this issue. Just help me put these two dots together. And he's like, think about it this way. And I was like, all right, hands up.
Fair enough.
Fair enough, yeah.
Take it. All right, quickly. I know we're like boring the shit out of a lot of people today, but we've been gone 2 weeks. You got to accept it. We came back. There's a lot we got to talk about. Y'all ever have this thing where you're in high school and a teacher came in wearing some weird shit and you're just like, what the fuck? Because students at this Oakville high school are going through it, right? I mean, I'm glossing over some other topics.
Come on.
but-
Is there any other way to react to that than what the fuck?
Like overnight, like okay, so context. Man, I don't even know.
God,
I
fuck.
didn't read any story. I was like quick bits on Twitter
You
that I saw
saw
about it.
you saw the picture, and is it a wood shop class? I guess, like a
A tech teacher
tech teacher, whatever it is,
doing the courses.
wearing prosthetic.
One day, he announced to his class. Apparently, it wasn't an overnight thing. That from some things I said, they've been transitioning throughout the course, so people knew that he identified as women. So she, see, I get so confused with this shit, and I know I just bite my. So you gotta forgive me because I don't mean it maliciously, but I do. Fuck. Anyways, she came in now to class with these
Prosthetic breasts, basically like a bodysuit. Let's just call it what
Yeah.
it is, right?
That's
Yeah.
what it was. Okay.
And it's
Yeah.
kind of like distracting, and obviously the media jumps on it, and then the right wing media jumps on it saying Canada is going to hell.
I mean,
it's just
I mean, there's a dress code that I believe teachers do have to adhere to, if I'm not mistaken. So that has to be clear violation. Whatever that was.
That dress code needs to be amended.
I
That
was
is a
like,
distraction.
well, that's what Leachy's
and
doing now. He's
and
like,
and that's where it's a weird kind of argument. I'm like, it's like, what does that have to do with, you know,
Actually, with the distraction aspect of it. Other than that, like,
what's
I
the
don't think-
purpose? Yeah. You know?
yeah.
so now
Yeah,
it's kind
so-
of it's because it's entered into this weird, not the weird state, but it's entered into this very very like tiptoey thing of, are we making light of trans rights here? Are we limiting freedoms by doing this? Or is this teacher now going in really
No,
pushing
I
the
mean,
boundaries on certain
I think
things?
it's simple. If it's an article that you're putting on your body, that doesn't adhere to some kind of dress code that the school board has formulated, that's the end of the story. It doesn't matter what you wear, what you believe, how you feel.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm sure there's dress codes of modesty. You know, it's like teachers can't walk around in bikinis,
and
right?
so
And so, just based on that fact alone, that has nothing to do with
Yeah,
Which-
like,
your preferences.
yeah,
It's just,
teachers
you know,
can't-
just basic, you know,
but
way
to
you
that
should
degree,
dress.
the school said, look, they're adhering to the dress code. They're not breaking the dress code by wearing a prosthetic breast.
How is that not? That's not breaking.
That's not. They're
That's
not. They're not wearing them just the prosthetic.
No, the
breast
nipple,
and
the
cap.
nipple in the thing was showing. How is that not breaking dress
I
code? That
mean,
must be.
they're-
You know,
No,
you
there's
know,
covering up.
a male teacher can't go out with an outline of his schlong walk.
Yeah,
Can you
exactly.
imagine? You know, a male teacher wearing a prosthetic. So, you know, it's just a part of my outfit. Come on, like, and it's kids. There's another aspect of it, right? I think it's tricky what this teachers union is going to have to do with that, because that's where the college of teachers are going to have to deal with that issue
So
themselves.
policy and common sense need to converge and come up
Yeah.
with a solution.
So where would you, as a trustee, stand on this? Parents come in.
I have, as long as it's not a distraction, do you,
Yeah.
ma'am? Yeah.
Yeah,
When it becomes a distraction, it becomes an issue about students and their education.
Yep.
Y'all are so friggin' ready for politics. You guys got this shit down to a science.
I mean, what else do you? But what
Hey.
else do you say? You can believe it. Look, I mean, we're all here. We all live here. It doesn't matter what you really believe at home. At the end of the day, we have to adhere to the fact that you can be whoever you want to be in this country, right? We can
100%.
accept that, right? And there are certain situations that we go through. We just talked about being in courts or going on a plane or whatever. Every place has rules, and in a place where there's children. Yeah, there's rules to apply to. You know, I can't, like I said, I can't go, if I was a woman, I can't go walking through school in a bikini. Someone would say something. It's distraction.
I can't walk
What's it-
around topless.
I'm really
That'd be an
curious
issue.
though where trans groups have weighed in on this, because I'm sure they've had to comment.
But once again, that context of working has nothing to do with sexuality. Like, that's what I'm trying to say,
Yeah,
right?
but
Like,
we're not sure about
you're going to
trans.
work.
It's not a trans issue.
It's not an issue. You want to be trans, go for it. That has nothing to do with this. But you're wearing a prosthetic bodysuit with not just breasts, which would be okay. This is like, you know, obviously, well, not even.
Out of scale. Like, there's probably not a
Yeah,
scale.
this is, and then the fact that on top of there's just, it's a distraction. It's for attention. It cannot be, this is who I am, because, well, it's not part of you. Now, if that person had gotten surgical intervention and got implants and so on and so forth, well, you can do whatever you want to. No one can stop you.
That doctor that said this is a good idea. First of all,
Yeah. Well, you could do whatever you want to, but I'm sure you still had to adhere to some dress code,
yeah.
and whatever that code is. And I might be wrong. If the dress code allows it, then the community needs to see if they're okay with that. I mean, that's where
what
it's
I
at.
understand,
Right?
the school board said, look, they're within the guidelines, which prompted this to go up to a higher level. So Stephen Leachy was like, he went to this, not the school board, but he went to the college of teachers and said, y'all
College
need
teachers.
to need to figure this out, because he was like, maybe this is even up to not even just at a dress code thing, but what's that?
Human rights. Human
Not
rights.
no, not human rights. Hygiene. He called it a hygiene thing.
Why would it be a hygiene thing?
I don't know. I didn't read the full story, man. I saw the headline.
When I read the headline, it's because it was a suit. You know, first I thought, oh, someone surgically has done that to themselves. I'm like, okay, well, that's asking for attention, but you can't say nothing. And then when I read further, I'm like, oh no, it's an actual bodysuit. I'm like, now where are we going with this? What are we doing here? right? If that's what you want to wear, well, you can wear it at home. And if you're like, well, I want to wear it at work, well, it doesn't go by the dress code. And if you don't like that, then you shouldn't work there. Simple as that, right? And if you want to get it, if you want to get it passed, then I mean, there's steps in it. They did, and someone dropped the ball, and it's something that.
But see, this is where it becomes trans rights, because someone might say, well, this is how I'm expressing myself as a human, and as this is my.
But what does that have to do with?
autonomy.
But once again, what's that have to do with trans by wearing a bodysuit? If you got the surgery, 100%, no one can tell you to do any different. Do whatever you want. This is a bodysuit, right?
Yeah,
Put it this way:
look,
if I win, I'm saying, well, I want
to.
to wear a fake penis, right? But I want it to be 10 feet long and drag while I walk. Someone's gonna
No,
say,
but-
"What the fuck are you doing?"
Well,
Right?
fine,
Like,
if you want to go
but it
with
was covered.
the
No, but it was
bodysuit-
covered. Let's just say,
Yeah.
but it was covered.
bodysuit, just coming into school with
Fuck,
that like
man.
raptor outfit, that inflatable raptor outfit, and trying to teach class like that, like that's a distraction to your students.
I'm a raptor today. Like, come
Yeah,
on.
the raptor, if you want to be a raptor today, that's
Fuck,
the
you want
enemy.
you want to do it at home. You want to do it in public, 100%. But there has to be some rules. And this is me speaking as a parent, not being phobic of anybody. What is that? I don't get the point of
The
that.
second my kid's not learning and they're just looking at what you're wearing, come on, like
That's the end of it, right?
that's the end of it.
You're the and if the kids are, I'm sure if the kids aren't just someone took a picture. There's obviously been complaints,
There's the kids who got this going viral, right?
I mean, how easy was that to get viral? Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
It's probably
we're
intended
talking
to go
about it.
viral. Yeah.
yeah, but it's not. I don't think the way we're speaking about it is transphobic. I don't think that's what it is. If she's a trans person, I wouldn't care. It has nothing to do with her trying to be able to do her job. But if you're teaching shop class and all the students, I don't know. There has to be some level of, I don't know, modesty is the word. I don't even know what the hell the word is,
You
right?
can't even teach in shop class like that. Like, there's something you get caught in something. You know?
Yeah, why? Where did those rules go?
Yeah. No loose clothing. I mean, they'll be caught in a loop. No.
No, but like I said, it's not a part of the body. If it was a part of the body, we couldn't really say nothing. We generally couldn't say nothing. We'd have to be like, if they're covered, we can't really say nothing there. It's covered. It's something they've
these are
done to their
covered.
body. Yeah, but it's a choice that they've made. It's a bodysuit, man. There's a difference, like I said. There's a difference. There's no right answer. That's what we're basically getting at, right? But I
So
mean,
how y'all doing, man? How's your campaign going?
I'm not running.
Any closing thoughts, man?
Yeah,
It's been a long
I think
week.
Shindas just building a little video edit to say these guys should never be voted in. Just go
I'm,
Yeah.
I'm eating guys. This is totally just a takedown piece. You guys have any closing thoughts? So I know it's been a while since we got together, and I understand that this shit went long. This is a longer podcast than normal. Hopefully, you guys can bear with it because you might not get one for another few weeks. Hopefully,
closing-
we're back to being a regular, but it's hard.
Closing thoughts, more than thoughts and prayers, obviously to the people out on the East Coast that just got ravaged by that hurricane. My buddy's out in Cape Breton. He says it's pretty bad out there, and his family in Newfoundland, there's houses that have just kind of gone into the sea. So,
I just thought it was like knock down trees.
no, man, it's pretty bad in some towns in Newfoundland as well. So
Oh shit.
it's pretty bad out there, and power's been out. People might not get power for a while. So yeah, man, hope they're all right.
All right, so
Nah, East Coasters know how to handle a storm, man. They've seen their share.
But it's all right. Bye.
all right, like they'll be
Yeah.
fine.
They'll be fine.
All right, boys. It's always fun talking with you guys. Hopefully, we can do this again next week. Unless your
All right.
campaigns drive you away from.
Why do you keep your campaign? I'm not running.
I
You're
mean,
running,
your
my friend.
campaign.
You're
Your
running.
campaign.
Your campaign, not my campaign.
I can't believe this got to the point that it's gotten. Having to open up like this is an ultimate troll job by you guys.
It's not our fault you don't want to win, brother. It's our fault you don't want to win.
We're gonna win.
It's
We're
our
winners.
Fault. It's not our fault. You're a perennial loser, son. You don't have that Kobe mentality.
Black
What would
Mamba.
Kobe be up at 4 a.m. knocking doors, and then we talked to him. He's like, "I already knocked this neighborhood once," and by noon he'd be like, "This is my second knock."
Legit.
All right, boys.
Straight up.
Good luck.
Yeah, man.
I will try to find more damaging information on you to release subtly on this podcast.
I'm not running. What are you? Just trying to destroy my real career. All right.
All right. Peace.
All right. Peace.
Oh.